You need to do something hard every single day. Let me explain why. Your mind is something that is going to constantly be changing. So every single day that you don't do something or every single day that you do something will continue to shape your mind. And if you don't do hard and difficult things every once in a while, like preferably once a day, your mind is going to continually soften. And this is going to become an issue because success requires a lot of failure, requires a lot of effort, requires a lot of hard things. And if your mind is soft, it's going to be more likely that you don't want to do these things or you don't end up doing them and they're necessary for success. And so if you don't do the things that are necessary for success, how do you expect to actually be successful, right? So it's like you need to do the hard things and you need to get used to doing hard things. And the only way to do that is to consistently do hard things every day. So your mind is always in the mode of, okay, I know what hard feels like. I'm used to hard things. And then it just doesn't make it such a big deal. Because if you work, let's say, for a long time one day, and that's like your hard thing for that day, and then for the rest of the week, you don't really do too many difficult things. When you come back again to try to work like extra hours, your mind is just not going to be in the same state. This is also why like you should really be, exercising each day or at least like, a couple times a week, because exercising is also like another hard thing that like typically you don't just want to exercise, you don't want to go to the gym most of the time. And as a result, that's something that can get your body and your mind used to the idea of doing something you don't want to do. And that's really where success comes in play, right? It's where you get used to doing things that you don't want to do and you force yourself to do them anyway. And if you can really master that, that's how you will become successful, because the journey is really long, but if you can just force yourself to do things even when you don't want to do them, you're going to be totally fine, right? But that's like, again, a super rare thing in today's world. People just want to do what they want to do and they don't want to do what they don't want to do. And they don't want to change any of that. But to be honest, there's going to be times when you don't want to do work, but your feelings don't really matter. They don't get a say in that situation. You need to just get it done. So that's why really getting used to doing hard things is going to be helpful in you just, consistently ensuring that you're always putting in the work no matter what. Because if you don't put in that work, right, then you're not going to become successful, and also your mind's going to weaken, and that's just going to have a more negative spiral because you're probably going to make a bigger deal out of doing something that's difficult than if you're consistently doing something difficult each day. I mean, this is kind of like what David Goggins preaches. He's always talking about try to have some aspect of suffering each day, right? Because it's like, yes, your mind is something that is dynamic. It's not like you'll reach a point in success and your mind will constantly stay like that all the time. The best analogy is like a knife, right? A knife, in order to stay sharp, has to constantly be sharpened, and if it's used, then sharpened again, right? Your mind is just like that. It would be amazing if we could just, achieve success one time or work really hard one time and then just be used to that for the rest of our lives. But it's actually not true. And you notice that the people who are successful are just used to constantly forcing themselves to do things they don't want to do. And that's become their norm. But people who aren't successful never can force themselves to actually do anything that they don't want to do, or they don't even try. So really, if you just get used to doing stuff you don't want to do, then it makes it easier to just continue to do more work and a lot of other things. Because to be honest, to become successful, it's not a very pleasant journey. To improve yourself, it's not a very pleasant journey. And you'll have the upper hand in the long run as a result.